do we have any technologies which are scale neutral? Something that we can, 1 acre farmer can use and also 10,000 acre farmer can use. Is there such a technology? You listed several of them, technology of different types. But is there a technology that can be applied across the different spectrum of the land size and land?
I think there are generic technologies that you can apply. I mean, one of them is mixed cropping. It is more difficult on a large scale, but I think you can use various systems of intercropping or rotational cropping. Rotational cropping in particular, you can use at scale. It doesn't just have to be on a small level. And I think that when they develop new drought-tolerant maize crops, which they're doing at the moment, many of those will be grown both by smallholders and large scale. But I think the question is a really good one. You know, we have to be very careful that when we find something that works at a local level, there's a danger that when you try and make it work at a bigger scale, you lose the benefits. And I think Paul would say the same.
Can I then ask a question to Dr. Lal, which is, what are the options for carbon sequestration by peasant farmers, especially in tropical regions, small farmers in Africa? Do they do carbon sequestration already through bush burning, and doesn't that create a kind of complex set of costs and benefits?
Many times farmers and policymakers and scientists believe that carbon sequestration is something that can be done only by large-scale commercial farms such as in North America. The largest sink capacity exists on farms which are very degraded and very poor soils, which have been depleted of nutrients and carbon. Soils of Africa and Asia, which I was mentioning, have 0.1% carbon, 0.2%, and yet the threshold level should be 1.5% or 2%. So that's where the largest potential is, and that's where I would emphasize the most. The question is, do they have resources to do it? And that's why the question I was asking before, do we have a technology that can be done across the scale? Can we somehow incentivize them? And I'm sure many people agree that subsidy is not a solution. So is it possible to make soil carbon a commodity that farmers can buy and sell? For example, right now the cost of sequestering geologic carbon sequestration, McKinley's report from the UK came up €60 a ton of CO2. At Chicago Climate Exchange, the cost of soil carbon payment to contract is 10 cents a ton of CO2. So if we were to give farmers of Africa and Asia, let's say $50 per ton of CO2, here is an incentive. And it's not a subsidy, it's not a handout. You're not creating beggars out of anything. Farmers will be treated as clients, as customers, not as a recipient of an aid. So I think if we can provide farmers, small landholders, payment for ecosystem services, whether it's a carbon sequestration, whether it's a biodiversity, whether it is water quality improvement, moderation of buffering resilience against sudden fluctuations in economy of the world, I think ecosystem services payment and carbon sequestration will be number one, is really the way to go.
Isn't the problem for small farmers the labour that's needed for carbon sequestration? Is that right? Is that the biggest problem? Or
I think the biggest problem is the biomass carbon to be put in the soil. Yeah. That's really the biggest bottleneck. My experiments in Africa and in the US, so supposing we put 2 tons of crop residue on the land,
right,
as a carbon, 2 tons of carbon as a crop residue, maximum of about 10 to 15% is retained in the soil as a humus.
Right.
Most of it's mineralized by microorganisms and so forth. So if we put 10 ton, you have only 200 kilograms left in the soil. That's the biggest hurdle. And these poor farmers take away everything. Like I was showing picture of selling the crop residue for fodder in the city, or whatever reason. So can we somehow pay small farmers for that? right? Leave the residue and we'll pay you rather than taking it away. The problem is World Bank. They have a biocarbon fund, and they say the minimum transaction should be $2 million. You need really 20,000 farmers to come up with $2 million in Africa and Asia. So the question is, how do the smallholders organize as a community?
Yeah. Well, could it be organised then in terms of these agro-service providers providing loans? Could farmers pay back small loans in terms of carbon sequestration? If they got paper credits for what they've actually achieved that gives them the incentive.
You've got, of course, to measure it. So you're back again to the transaction costs. I mean, the only way, it seems to me, you can do it is by having remote sensing. Taking a watershed, if you took a small watershed, you could, from remote sensing, measure the increase in carbon that's occurred in that watershed over years. And then you could pay an association to people who live in the watershed. And they then work out but even that seems to me to be very complicated.
Well, there are simpler ways, though. Let me give you a suggestion why I think there are simpler ways. Conservation Reserve Program in the United States that has 40 million acres, and farmers getting somewhere between $50 to $100 per acre for set-aside land. So, and the idea was to reduce the runoff and erosion from that land. We never took out volume to measure whether that land was having a runoff or erosion reduced or not. What we did was the Natural Resource Conservation Service verify that the land was not being cultivated. So, if some of the technologies such as conservation agriculture, agroforestry, albida that you're talking about, putting the crop ready to mulch, as long as somebody can verify that technology is being done, and we from experimental data know that how much of carbon is being sequestered by that technology, I think that's the simple.
You can do it.
Remote sensing, and we can check, yes, this land is being done by that practice. And somebody ground truth I think that's a lot. Many times people ask me, do we have to take our probe out to measure soil carbon? No.